Okay, for finishing our process on the material, we need some decals and emissive on the surface and the material. So let's add the emissive for the first layer. Okay, I'm going to rename it to emissive, but we don't have channels on the emissive. I don't know why, because we add that in the beginning of the process. Okay, it's not a big problem. I'm going to add emissive for the base, and let's create white value for the emissive. Why white value? Why we don't use color in the painter? Because I just want to have this freedom to change the color inside Unreal Engine, Marmoset toolbar, or any other render engine that I'm going to render this project. So for the emissive, let's keep it white because all the emissive line, they have the same color. Okay, so let's add a black mask. Okay, now let's add a paint layer. Okay, let's go to the UV chunk. I'm going to select this line over here. So this is the first line that we want to have emissive light. Okay, that's it. Let's go add another paint. And I'm going to change the blending mode to linear dodge and change the opacity to something like 50. So in this way, we can have more soft mask for the emissive. And let's add another paint layer. And again, change the blending mode to linear dodge and maybe change the opacity to something like 60. So let's press 1 and go to the painting. So I'm going to paint here. Okay. That's it. Let's decrease amount. Okay. Yeah. This for this part. We can use normal, roughness, and metallic, and just apply to all channel, blending not normal, to have better result. Okay, so let's keep all the mask on 100, and yeah, in this way we have better result. And let's control the emissive amount inside the Marmoset toolbag. So okay, let's add another paint layer. Okay, I'm going to paint from here to here, here to here, like this. Okay. I'm going to subtract this part. Okay. That's it. And let's paint the emissive line here, here, and we can do this in 2D mode. But I prefer to do this on 3D because we have something like this. So in this way we can keep the continuously painting. So yeah. And let's remove this area that we don't want to have. Okay, that's it. And this is good. This is the emissive mask that we have right now. Okay, now I'm going to use a fill layer. Okay, in this fill layer, I'm going to load gradient. Okay, let's change the UV wrap to none, and we can just control this gradient. Okay, that's it. Okay, and we can use the contrast balance. Okay, in this way. and let's add a paint layer. And I'm going to change the blending mode to subtract. So let's make the mask perfect for this area. Okay, I'm going to increase the hardness. Okay, that's it. Like this. Okay, so let's put this mask below all the mask, and let's add a filter like blur and increase the intensity like this one, and we can decrease the size, and we can play with the balance and the contrast itself. Okay, let's decrease the balance. Okay, go over in the paint, and yeah, we are ready to go. Everything is good. We can check on the 3D view. Okay, maybe we can remove this area. Okay, let's duplicate the gradient, and we have another spot here. So let's fix the position and go to the paint, and we are going to clean up the mask. Let's clean up the mask here. Okay, let's continue cleaning up the masks. Okay, so we have a clean mask for this part. Let's duplicate the gradient, and we have this spot here. So let's go here. Fix the position. Okay. Go to paint and remove the border. Okay, let's go back to the mask. So we are done here. Right. Okay. Now we can clear up the mask. That's it. So let's create something together. I'm going to clean up these edges here. So as you can see in the 3D view, it just fixed the position for this mask in a displacement mode. So it's okay for the emissive line, and we can change the color inside other software that we are going to use for render. So let's go add another fill layer. I'm going to call it white decal. And for white decal, I just need color, roughness, metallic, and normal. And we need to apply all channel blending mode normal to all channel. That's it. And let's bring up the whiteness. Yeah. So let's add a black mask. And for the first step, I'm going to create a strip line here. So let's add a fill layer and search for a strip. So, okay, let's go. We need a strip line here. So let's change the UV wrap to just repeat vertically and bring down the size to something like 33. Yeah, this is the good number. And let's bring this here. Okay, let's go to the pattern. I'm going to change the strip to 2, and let's change the sheaf to something like 2. Yeah, as you can see, everything is okay, but we need to create a mask to control this layer. But just before to create the mask, you just need to duplicate this layer and add negative value to this tile to just mirror. And now to here and fix the position for this side. So let's okay. I think let's fix. And yeah, everything is okay. So we need to recall the mask for level 1 and change the blending mode to subtract. So in this way, we have these are strips on the line. Okay. Now we can clean up the mask with a simple paint layer in subtract mode and remove this area like this. Okay. And maybe for this little section. Okay. That's it. And like this. Okay, let's clean up the mask. Okay, and it, we can continue this process for this side and this section too, and completely erase this section. Yeah, maybe this one too. So I'm going to stop the video and clean up this mask, and after that we can continue our process. Okay, now it's time to add some grunges. Okay, for first one, let's use leaky paint. Okay, and I'm going to change the tiling mode to 3. Let's bring up the balance, use some contrast, and change the blending mode to subtract. Yeah, it's very good. Okay, let's add another fill layer. I'm going to search grunge scratches and change the tiling to 4 and use invert, change the balance and contrast to control the mask, and change the blending mode to subtract. And for this layer I'm going to use half for opacity. Okay, so this is the effect that we have, and let's add a filter like warp to avoid a straight line and generic look. So let's increase the intensity divider. Okay, like this. Yeah. And maybe we can increase the tiling amount here too. Yeah, I think it's better. So let's add some randomness for the leaky paint. Now let's add another fill layer like dirt. Yeah, and change the blending mode to subtract again. Let's increase the tiling amount to 2 and change the balance to 0.3, and let's bring up the contrast to 0.32. Let's see what we have. This is good. Let's change the balance for the leaky paint. Okay, that's it. So now I just want to have some text inside this mask to provide some detail over here. So let's go to the asset, and in the alpha I'm going to search font, and now I can use this font. Let's add a fill layer, give this font to grayscale, change the UV wrap to none, and now I can control the font easily. So okay, we have this, and let's add some random text here. Should follow your reference, but we don't have any reference here, so we can use some random text. Let's change the size. We can change the type to bold. Okay, let's use another seed. Yeah, I think it's good. And maybe after paint is a good place. Or yeah, I think warp makes this one a little grungy. So I have my strip, paint for cleaning the mask, wrap for giving more natural look, and we have the text. So we need to change the blending mode to linear dodge. And now we have 3 different subtraction level. So let's add another font. And now I'm going to use this font in here. So let's bring up the size. Okay. And let's change the text. For example, yeah, let's blade neon. For example, this is the text that we are going to use on the blade. Okay. So, but we don't want to strip overlay on the font, so we need to add a fill layer. Change the blending mode to subtract, bring up the grayscale to 1, and change the UV wrap to none, and now we can scale down. Okay, and fix the position here. So yeah, we have our space like this. And yeah, so this is the way that we are creating details on the surface. And even we can make it a little stretchy. Yeah. And let's bring down the balance. Okay. So I'm going to duplicate this font and let's change the position. Okay, now I'm going to use this one here, as you can see. And let's add another text. For example, RR. Okay, this one. And let's duplicate this fill layer and change the position for here. Yeah. Now we have our detail for the white line. So let's move to the next layer, and that's it. Okay, now it's time to move to next decal. I'm going to name it color decal. Okay, and add a black mask. So basically, we just need color, roughness, metal, and normal again. So let's turn on these layers, and maybe I go with the orange color like this. So we can change this one every time that we want, or we can just export this mask and use it in the shader and change the color like emissive in the material in the software that we want to render. So let's add a fill layer. Okay, so change the UV wrap to none, and I'm going to create a solid line here. Okay, and let's apply to all channel for blending mode to avoid any effect from the down layers. And that's it. So let's change the blending mode to linear dodge. And now I'm going to use this layer here. Okay. And let's add a paint layer. I'm going to change the blending mode to subtract and just paint here. To remove this part from the mask. Okay, like this. Yep. Like this one. Or we can remove this part completely. I think it's more interesting. Yeah. Okay. So for the next part, I'm going to add a fill layer. And let's go to the project and use this alpha. Okay. For this part. Yeah, exactly. This part. And yeah, I'm happy with the result. That's it. Let's go add a ring around this one. So let's change the blending mode to linear dodge, add a fill layer, change the blending mode to linear dodge, and go back to the asset. Go to the all library and search circle, and circle double is a good option. So let's change the size and fix the position. Okay. We can control mask like this. Okay, let's change the size. And yeah, maybe this one is better. That's it. And this is for this section. I need some lines around here and here. So let's create the mask. But it would be so hard to create this mask because we are going to um, subtract the mask from each other, and we need some space to do that. So let's create mask holder. Okay, mask holder, decal, and let's add a black mask. And in here, I'm going to recall the level 1 mask, as you can see. That's it. And okay, let's duplicate this layer, change the blending mode to subtract, add a blur filter like this. So let's increase the blur intensity. Yeah. And after that, I'm going to use a filter like histogram scan. And let's play with the position and contrast. Yeah. So let's add an anchor point here and just load this fill layer. And this is the mask holder detail mask. Okay, let's call it number 1. Okay, that's it. But it's not good because we have some effect on this area. So we can do cleanup mask action. So let's create this one and remove everything that we don't want. For example, we can use UV chunk. Okay, so select all section and just press deselect. And now we can see what we have here. Okay. And we can control with the blur and histogram scan. Okay, but we have 2 different layer. As you can see, we have this one and this holes here. So I'm going to add a fill layer over here. And when we add a fill layer and the blending mode is normal, in this mask, we can see this result. So we can create another mask upon the previous mask. And after that, we can add another anchor point and we can recall that. So everything works perfectly. So let's load the level 2 mask. Okay, that's it. And I'm going to repeat all the process. Just we need to change the level 1 mask to level 2 mask. And that's it. So we can add another anchor point here, call it 2. Let's duplicate this one and just load this mask and add linear dodge and linear dodge. So we have everything that we want. But in here, we need to some cleanup for mask number 2, as you can see. So let's go to the mask holder. I'm going to add a paint. Okay, so we can remove this area, and we need to change the blending mode to subtract. Okay, like this. Yeah, because we have these masks. Another layer, and remove these lines. Okay. So as you can see, I can control these masks very easy. So, oh, it's getting damage. That's it. This is the mask number 2. And this is the mask number 1. And this is the result that we want to have. Okay. Yeah. Everything is perfect. So I just need to have some symbol and some shape for this surface. And you can see what I'm doing, but it's a repetitive action. So we can just increase the speed of the video. And as you can see, we just add fill layer, use the alpha related to the concept and the um, subject that we have, and place it on the surface. And after finishing that part, we can check all the material again and export the textures to Marmoset. So let's do that. And after that, we are going to export the texture. Okay, now we are done in the Substance Painter. As you can see, we just add some symbol and some decals to the surface. And now we are ready to export. Everything is okay. After checking the material in Marmoset toolbag, we can come back here and do the tweak and change the parameter to achieve what we want. So in the next video, we are exporting the texture and render it in Marmoset toolbag.